Just intro you real quick here. Sure. Okay, so I'm here with Rob Baxter, designer of Sedition Wars, and he's just going to give us a quick overview of the game.
Hi, how's it going?
Good, how are you doing?
Good. So I'm just going to run you through a quick one-turn kind of example of play.
Okay.
It's the beginning of the Vanguard active mode. So what they're going to do is they're going to during this activation phase, I can basically activate all my models, use abilities, move them around the board, that sort of thing.
Okay.
As you can see, there's 2 Strain Revenants on the board. I'm just going to use Kara's close combat abilities to try and take them out.
Okay.
And if I can't, I'm going to use this Samaritan to support her with some active fire.
Okay.
All right. So very simple. If you look at the card, Kara here, she has a mobility of 6, a defense of 15, and 10 hit points, basically. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move her up to here and try and get snug with these 2 Revenants. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm in contact. Now, facing isn't really important in Sedition Wars.
Okay.
Basically, you have 360-degree field of view. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try and use my Dachi Emblade attack, this katana here, to try and take out one of these Revenants. And I think I'm going to start with this guy here.
All right.
So I'm going to roll to hit. Okay, so the result is a 2, 5, 6. That's a total of 13. She has a modifier on her Dachi Emblade of 6, so that's 19.
All right.
Revenant has a defense of 12, so I am obviously going to hit. The thing is, I've rolled a 6, so 6s are open. I'm just going to roll another die.
Gotcha.
See what happens there. It's a 5, okay. The reason I re-rolled was to see if I could get another 6. 6s are important because when you attack, you always do the base damage if you hit, but for every 6 you roll, you do an additional amount of damage equal to the staging damage of that weapon. Okay. So her Dachi Emblade, base damage is 4, staging damage is 3, so for every 6 I roll, I do 3 additional damage.
Okay.
In this case, because I only rolled 1 6, I do 7 points of damage to that Revenant. Revenants have 8 hits, so this Revenant right now only has 1 hit point left.
Okay.
Okay. Now that I haven't killed him, I've used up my activation. I'm going to take the Samaritan and I'm just going to move him out here, get into line of sight, and shoot this Revenant. And I just realized it's this Revenant I need to shoot, so I'll move here. Now, because Kara's the same size as me, she doesn't block my line of sight.
Okay.
But it does make shooting a little bit more difficult.
Okay.
Samaritans are crack shots and they never hit their own troops.
Okay.
So I'm just going to turn, fire on this Revenant, see if I can take him out before he can attack her.
All right.
I roll 3d6 again because 3d6 is the base dice used to resolve any attack in Sedition Wars.
All right.
Pretty good roll. 2 6s. I'm just going to re-roll those, see what happens. 2 more 6s. I'm on fire. Now there we go. So I rolled a total of 4 6s. I've definitely hit. I know I'm going to do the base damage, so I just take a look at the Samaritan's attacks.
Okay.
I'm using a Saber Kinesis Carbine.
Okay.
Mod 5, so I add 5 to this amount, which is already gigantic.
Right.
Damage and staging, 5 and 2. So I do base 5, and then 2 additional for every 6 I rolled. I rolled 4 6s, that's 8. So I just did 13 points of damage to this poor unfortunate Revenant, which vaporizes him.
Right.
As he dies, all of the nanotech that was in there operating his corpse vents out and appears on the board. So I just place a nano token there.
Gotcha.
That's important for later. When the Strain take their turn, they can use nano, move it around the board. They can use it to infect enemy models, evolve their own existing models, or mutate them and change their their game features and that sort of thing. So one of the key features of Sedition Wars is that if you have a force on the board, you can actually move the nano around and evolve your force to meet the demands of the actual scenario you're playing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
And that's it in a nutshell.
Okay. Thanks. And the average scenario takes about how long?
The average play scenario takes anywhere between 30 minutes to an hour.
Okay.
A little bit longer if you're just learning it for the first time.
Okay.
Obviously, the rules are really easy to pick up. We've had beginners up and running in 15 minutes.
Okay.
Very simple resolution system. Everything is 1 roll resolution.
Right.
And of course, there's one of the important things is that there's always something you can do. Every character has a reflex trigger. Right. So, for example, the reflex trigger on Kara is when an enemy model moves into an adjacent square, make a close combat attack against it.
Okay.
So if I were to say, put Kara here, have this guy run up, the second he gets into that square, I get to interrupt his action and attack that model. If I kill him, awesome, I killed him. But if I don't, he still gets to carry out the rest of his action on me.
Okay.
Makes her very dangerous in close combat, so she's going to be shot at a lot.
Gotcha. So how many scenarios come with the base game?
Base game includes 10 strategic scenarios, which are basically free-form scenarios that you can play however you want. And also a 9-scenario campaign, which follows what we call the Outbreak storyline.
Okay.
So 19 scenarios in total.
Awesome.
It's a 60-page rule book. It includes all the scenarios, all the rules for playing the game, and then faction-based rules for both the Vanguard and the Strange.
Okay. Great. Thanks, Rob.
No,
Appreciate
you're
it.
welcome.